and welcome to MJC Kitchens and Bathrooms. Today we are doing a kitchen, so I'm going to show you how we get set up and how we started. First thing, look at your plan. Always check your plan, always run from corner outwards. I use a laser level and I use a pencil. So my laser level, I've measured, I always like to leave it 890 and then work top on top, because that allows for the floor. A lot of these floorings are quite thick, and if you're having freestanding appliances, you need to make sure that you can get them under. So I've gone round this, every corner all the way around it, and I've measured it and I've made sure the minimum gap that I'm going to be with is 890. Now that's only for my preference. Everybody else's preference is completely different. This is how I fit. So all my gaps are bang on. So I've put my laser on, I've got my laser, it's running all the way around here, so I know where I am. So now all I need to do is, you find the unit which is in the corner. This is a corner unit, this has got a 450 door on it. You just unwrap it. So that's the corner unit. This comes in a lot of bits. So what we do, have a look inside. We've got leg pack, we've got some backing board. This leg pack, you just look in there, just like this. Then we've got the back rail on the back of the unit. So what we do, we'll get a drill, unscrew the back unit, so we know this is the top, yeah? And all these little holes on there, that's for the centerpiece. Now, depending on which unit you've got and depending on which size door you're hanging, will depend on which size these. So there on this front edge here, that's the front edge. So don't go drilling anything until you've checked what door you want and what you need. This is a 450 door, so it's on that plan, it's a 450 door, so we'll have a look. Never just go willy-nilly, because everything may not be as it seems. My mate just gives me a drill that don't work. Can't put a battery on. See what I have to put with. Right, gently pull it out. You don't want to be breaking stuff. Pull that to one side. And then what I do, first thing I do with this unit, because in life, not everything's square. Now, that wall there has got divots all over it, it's bumpy. It's like a snake, do you know what I mean? Moving down a river. So, because of these units, they've got full backs on them. Right up. They have got a back inside there. They have got a back inside there, but they've got full backs in them. So to try and put that unit against that wall, and that wall's going to be bowing out, it's going to bow your unit out. So the first thing I do before I do anything, I flip it upside down, get my circular, always, whenever you're dealing with a unit, always move it on its back corner, never front corner, and that way you can't damage it. So I get it down there like that. I'm going to get my circular and I'm going to measure 30mm on my circular, and then I'm going to rip it down, this panel here, all the way down, back of the unit. You'll never see it, but that allows, when we push it up to the wall, we're not governed by this flat bit. It'll just go in and we can tweak it left to right. And for your unit, the back of it, stop that from the wall, that measures 60mm to the back of that. So I do it 40mm on my cutter, just drop that straight in. because you can keep this, because that's the exact width of the unit, and it might do for the filler later. Do you know what I mean? Filler. So never ever throw them. So you need a good circular. Then what I do, because I've been working in kitchens all my life. I started at 18 in kitchens. I'm 44 now. I went from loading them to sell, to building them, to fitting them, doing everything with them. Get a drill. What I do is, now you don't have to do this, I just prefer to do it because when you're fitting and you're screwing your units together, wood, you don't always want to work the way you want it to work. So what I find is, if you just do this, very simple, only takes a couple of seconds, get a nice, thin, decent wood screw. See the edge corner there? So you don't pull it out when you're dragging it and moving it apart. Some of them pull out. I put a screw in, just on the edge there. Make sure you drill centre. If you're new to this, always pilot your holes. Obviously, I've been doing it that long, my brain just, it's like, see this eye? It's like a tape measure, do you know what I mean? Minus 0 point odd mils. So I put one there, front edge, then I'll go to this side and I'll put one in there, front edge. Screw it in, make sure it's nice and flush, so it's not touching, not affecting all. Because when we bought another unit onto this, we want it nice and flat. We want it nice and flat and we want it flush. Has to be flush. And then I'll put one on the back as well. And one in the back there. Beautiful. And then what I'll do, before I move this unit, because this is going to be the bottom, I'll get the leg pack, open the leg pack. Now see these legs, they've got like a little wing nut on them. Yeah? The wing nut is for the side. So put the wing nut over the side, and then the weight of the sides and the base stops the base from pushing down, it can't push down. So put them in, sides, sides, and then in the packs, you'll end up with a load of screws in the packs. Now don't worry if you come to the end of it and there's a load of screws left, because that's always the case, you know what I mean? So get some little screws and always screw the legs in, because when you're moving it about, they tend to fall off. Don't forget, I always put the middle leg in as well, because you might struggle if you haven't. Must go through millions and millions of pounds in screws. See what I mean? Now that panel, that little wing nut there has pulled that panel flat, so it's nice and flush. Depending on which kitchen unit you're doing, is depending on how well they are made. Some are made well, some aren't. But all it takes is a couple of screws, fix it in solid, and you can't have a problem. Well, you could have a problem, but chances are you won't. always use my drill for that. Some people. So you can't do that, but you can. It's my drill. I can do whatever I want. The middle leg, always screw that in. So you're not messing about with it. Screw it in, then bang it on. Beautiful. Put another one in there. And then another one on that side there. Right, and then there we go, we've got the basics now. Clean your screws off. Take all your gear off it. So we know that's the bottom. Always tilt the unit backwards, never forwards. Tilt it backwards, get it on its corner, flip it up, nice and neat. If you're by yourself, this is what you need to do so you don't damage your legs. Don't matter about the back corners, always the front corners, never lean it on the front corner. So straight away, I'm going to cut the back off again. I'm going to just rub my sword in there like that. It's going to... Beautiful. What do we do with this one? Keep it, because we might use it for the filler. So we keep 2 panels like that. Brush it off. As you can see, it's just nice and neat. Do you know what I mean? Can you see that? Nice and neat. And what that allows us, when we put that against the wall, when you're putting that against the wall, we're only governed by the 2 end panels. Now, if we would have had this piece in, and say there's a bubble on this wall, that unit would be rocking side to side like that, because this centrepiece is in. Because we've took the centrepiece out, in turn, we're stopping that rocking. We're able to pull that unit back to the wall, and it'll be fixed back to the wall. And we'll do the same with every single one. Every single one what comes like that, we'll do it. Chances are we're going to cut a lot of that out when we put that in corner, because we need a mitre. Mitre is a saw. So now we've got it to that stage, I'm going to just put a screw in there before I go out. This is just to guarantee you don't pull apart. Make sure it's in flush. Make sure that part there is flush. Same with this side, flush. Beautiful. Then I put one in at back. And one in that other side. When you're prepping your unit, there's no point rushing your unit, because this is the first thing to go in, right? And if this don't work, everything else in your kitchen's not going to work, because this is the main one. This is the start of the show. So you've got to get this right. If this ain't right, nothing else is going to follow on. So take your time, build it up properly, and just get it right. Make sure it's all nice. At the end of the day, customer wants to see a lovely kitchen, not some mishmash Bosh. You know what I mean? He wants to be a good bish bash Bosh. So now we've got his unit in there.